In this path into the mysterious unknown, whatever happens will be happening for you. We live in a universe where not only is everything happening for a reason, everything is happening for you because the universe is you. Right? The consciousness of God and the presence of divinity that is in you is also outside of you, in everything that you see and experience. So when we move through challenges, when we move through pain, when we move through negativity and positivity, all of that are layers that we've added on to the base state of okayness, the base state of divinity, the base state of unconditional love. So something very practical that we can learn to do once we step into the unknown is hold this divine truth on our heart. Hold this divine truth of, despite all of the negativity that I perceive as happening right now, despite all of the positivity that I perceive happening right now in the unknown, under all of that is unconditional love, is okayness, is a state of there is nothing I can do that will be quote unquote wrong. Welcome, beautiful souls, to season 3 of the Cosmic Love Antenna with your host, Harrison Ma. I invite you on a mystical voyage from the intellect to the soul, delving deep into the mysteries of love's spiritual essence and its divine unfolding. This podcast celebrates the peeling back of heart layers, revealing beautiful, profound lessons, interviews with loving spiritual seekers, and practices and tools to open up your heart to love's infinite wisdom. I'm so excited to have you and grateful that our hearts have connected. Enjoy the show. Good morning, evening, afternoon, beautiful beings. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Cosmic Love Antenna and another solo episode from my heart to yours today on a topic that is very near and dear to my heart and my world at the moment. And if it's near and dear to my heart, it's most likely near and dear to yours. Today's topic and theme is stepping into the unknown, 10 spiritual solutions to do so. I've done episodes in the past on overcoming fear, which I'll put in the show notes of this podcast episode. But this one is a little bit different today because while there is fear in the unknown, there's a lot more. There's a lot more challenges than just fear when we step into beautiful possibilities of the unknown itself. So today I'm going to go through 10 spiritual solutions on how you can really not just move through the unknown and take that initial beautiful step, but get the most out of it. Receive the downloads, receive the expansion, receive the creation energy. So stick around to the end to soak up all 10 points. If you're watching live today on Facebook or YouTube, remember you can leave your comments as we go and I'll add your voice into the conversation, the chat, the episode. And if you're listening on the podcast player, this hits your heart, this activates you, please share this out far and wide with someone that you think it can support. All right, let's get into it. I want to just give a bit of context here. There's always been unknown in my life, but very recently over the last year and stepping into this new year, 2024, the unknown is becoming very apparent and very consistent. So these practices, as always here on the show, they're not just teachings that I have learnt, but they're also teachings that I implement on a day-to-day basis and are very, again, contextual to my current situation. So let's start with number 1. The first solution here for stepping into the unknown. I see you there, Christy. Welcome in the Facebook chat. The first solution is probably the most common one that would hear in this situation of the unknown, and it is your beautiful breath. But I'm going to go a bit deeper into it and explain why exactly it is so powerful with the unknown. When we use our breath, right, and it can be simply closing our eyes, taking a big deep breath in through our nose, into our belly, and breathing out, either just before we've stepped into the unknown or as we take that initial step. Something very significant occurs, and this is what I wish to highlight. Our breath is the gateway to the present, and not just the present moment in time, which in itself is enough, because the present moment in time is where everything happens. The future is an illusion. The past is an illusion. Everything we live in and experience and embody is here in the present. But it's not just a moment in linear time. When we use our breath, we also open to our presence. And what I mean by presence is your presence of God, your presence of divinity, your presence of power, your presence of higher consciousness that you already are. So the reason that this is relevant to the unknown and why we wish to use the breath as often as we can when we're moving through the questions of what if, the emotions of something's going to go wrong, right? The stories of I can't do this in the unknown. When we use our breath and we activate our presence, we are held. When we use our breath and we activate our presence, we remember that we are limitless in our potential. We have all of the answers. And when we take that step into the mysterious unknown, we're supported because we've always been supported, but we forget. And our breath is the gateway to this presence of potential, of power, of infinite possibility that the unknown helps bring out in us. So this is really the first step here, first tip here with stepping into the unknown. Welcome, Darlene. Welcome, Sharon, in the Facebook chat. If you beautiful ladies have comments and questions as we go, please add them in. Love to hear your feedback. So that's step number one. That's point and tool number one is the breath and activating your presence of divinity, your presence of power and creation. Number two here with stepping into the unknown is, and this flows on from the breath and activating your presence and being held, it's the remembrance that all is okay. All is okay. You can't get it wrong. And your base state is unconditional. So I'm going to explain and elaborate what I mean by all of this. In episode 201, I talked about my experiences in India. And one of the big lessons from India that really came up in me was your internal state when moving through difficult challenges such as today of the unknown. Your internal state, your base state is one of okayness, enoughness, worthiness. In times of challenge, in times of fear, in times of mysterious unknown, all the stories, all of the negativities, all of the doubt, all of the fear, they're all illusions. Because when we take everything away, you are okay. You will be okay. Right? It's the famous Beatles quote. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything is okay. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And that is really what we're getting at here. When you step into the unknown, not only is there a frequency of okayness, there's also this understanding that you can't get it wrong. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is in this path into the mysterious unknown, whatever happens will be happening for you. We live in a universe where not only is everything happening for a reason, everything is happening for you because the universe is you. right? The consciousness of God and the presence of divinity that is in you is also outside of you in everything that you see and experience. So when we move through challenges, when we move through pain, when we move through negativity and positivity, all of that are layers that we've added on to the base state of okayness, the base state of divinity, the base state of unconditional love. So something very practical that we can learn to do once we step into the unknown is hold this divine truth on our heart. Hold this divine truth of, despite all of the negativity that I perceive is happening right now, despite all of the positivity that I perceive happening right now in the unknown, under all of that is unconditional love, is okayness, is a state of there is nothing I can do that will be quote unquote wrong. As Rumi said, out beyond all right doings and wrong, all right doings and wrongdoings, there is a field. I'll meet you there. That is the field that we can step into and open to move through us as we progress through the unknown. This field is unconditional love. This field is okayness. This field is divine power. But as always, with our spirit, we must embrace it. We must welcome it. We must accept it because we have free will. So we must use our free will to allow this consciousness to be and move through us. Welcome, Jade. I see you there, brother. And welcome, Robin. I see you in the Facebook chat. Yes, Darlene, you're saying, oh my goodness, this is clarity. Yes, it's clarity, Darlene, because it's divine truth. It's not a Harrison thing, right? It resonates because there's something in you that acknowledges truth. Number 3, here, the stepping into the unknown, spiritual practice. Often, and I fall into this trap, I fall into this trap very frequently when I step into the unknown. I fall into the trap of thinking that I am alone. When I step into the unknown, step into the mysterious, what's going to happen, I fall under the illusion that I am alone. And this is guidance number 3 here now with taking this initial beautiful path. You are never alone. And what we can learn to do when we step into the unknown is ask for the love, ask for the support that is always there that we deserve to receive. Okay, and I'm going to speak later about the human support and the human physical support. But in this example, I'm referring to the spiritual support, right? The non-3D support that is always there. I want to make that very clear. The non-physical spiritual support that is always there, right? Examples, angels, spirit guides, ancestors, spirit animals, all of this spiritual team that is around you all the time. When we step into the unknown, we ask for their help. We ask for their guidance. We ask for their support. It's up to us. It's up to us to do that. Because much like that consciousness of enoughness and that consciousness of okayness, when we ask for spiritual support to come in, we have to give permission. Because this is the divine law of free will. So when you step into a place of, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, you don't have to step into it alone, right? You ask, you place your hands on your heart, you close your eyes, and you connect, right? You set the intention of, it could be as simple as giving yourself permission, allowing yourself to receive spiritual love or spiritual guidance or spiritual insight. And then receive the channel, receive the intuitive download, receive the insight to nourish you as you step into the unknown. Because the one of the biggest illusions that exists is our separation, is our quote unquote loneliness. Happy it's helping, Sharon. I needed to hear this today. Your comment in the Facebook chat. Happy it's resonating. No coincidences. Darlene, you're saying in the chat, spirit animals come to me a lot. I always receive from them. Bears and mountain lions, I so receive healing from them. Yeah, it's beautiful, Darlene. Beautiful example. But they're always there. And it's interesting. I'll just share this because it's resonating with everyone. They, I'm going to use the example of ancestors. Right? Let's say that we're stepping into the unknown of maybe a new relationship, and there is a lot of wounds and trauma around opening your heart to someone new, and there's an unknown here. When we ask for spiritual support in this context, our ancestors have specific answers for specific challenges. So what we can also learn to do when receiving love from our spiritual team in the unknown is ask specific questions, right? Ask specific people, specific ancestors for specific challenges, right? Because there's often where we get into challenge with getting spiritual support is we sometimes become too general and nothing comes. And then we think we've done it wrong. No, you haven't done it wrong. You just haven't asked for the specific medicine that is waiting to be dropped down. So a little bonus tip here with receiving spiritual support, don't be afraid to get specific, right? Speak about a person, speak about a particular heart challenge, right? Speak about grief, speak about shame, guilt, etc. Okay, let's move on. Number 4 here for stepping into the unknown and a spiritual practice and teaching here around what we can do. Number 4 is, and will be a surprise to no one who listens to this show quite regularly, it is using the affirmation, using the guidance of what would love do? Using the affirmation of what would love do? And I'm gonna go to a deeper layer of this to what I have in the past. Just for people new to this affirmation, when we ignite this expression of what would love do, what that's saying is when we're in the unknown, if we want to align with our highest possible consciousness, our highest possible state, our highest possible path, we can invoke love because that is what everything is, right? Everything is love. So when we ask the question, what would love do? We channel through the highest possible outcome. Okay, very simple. But I want to add a little extra layer here. One of the most common questions I get is, how do we know the difference between what the ego is saying versus what our spirit, our soul, our deeper spiritual being is saying in this example of stepping into the unknown? How do we know that the voice is ego-based versus spirit, soul-based? One of the ways we can answer that question is by applying this affirmation in these moments of the unknown. Right? When we apply what would love do, and then we act from that love, we are acting from spirit. We're acting from source. We're acting from the divine. Right? So whenever you're confused, right, and we've all been there. I've been here. Right? We're confused around what are all these voices? What are all these habits that are moving through me? Most of them are ego, right? Most of them are past pain, past shadows coming to enact themselves, mostly to get your attention, but projecting into the outside world through your steps. When we apply this affirmation of love, we drop back into the heart. And when we drop back into the heart, we invoke our spirit. We invoke the consciousness of our soul. So just something to really put together, because often in the unknown, and this is a teaching in itself, often in the unknown where we go wrong is we fall back into fear and we make choices from the ego, right? We make choices from past pain. So a piece of guidance here is remembering that you always have this love in your heart, I would refer to as your lantern of love, to ignite in the darkness of the unknown so your ego and mind can rest and your soul and spirit can be activated. And it activates through love. It activates through not just feeling the love that is you moving through you, but embodying it as a step forward, embodying it as a step forward into the unknown. So you welcome potential and possibility and abundance that is your birthright. Welcome, Lisa. I see you there in the Facebook chat. Thank you for joining. Okay, so a big one in itself. I'll land that one there, but just a beautiful, another way that we use that affirmation of what would love do. Number 5 here. Oh, and this is a good one. I haven't spoken too much about this, so I'm excited to share some insight here. So teaching number 5, spiritual teaching around stepping into the unknown and how you can do this is you exist everywhere, every way, all at once. You exist everywhere, every way, all at once. I'm going to break this down, but I'm first going to highly recommend anyone that's tuning into the podcast, if you haven't watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, I would highly recommend adding that to your watch list. Purely from, I mean, it's a good movie in general, but from a spiritual lens, from a multidimensional, all-powerful, loving being that you are, it has a lot of beautiful education. And what I'm referring to here, you exist everywhere, every way, all at once, is when we step into the unknown and we set the intention of stepping into the unknown as the full, powerful, spiritual being having a human experience that we are. What we must remember is that spiritual being, that soul that you are, does not exist in time, does not exist in space, does not exist in realities of separation. And one of the meanings behind that, one of the beautiful superpowers behind that is in your heart, you have every possibility, every version of you waiting to be embodied, waiting to be expressed, waiting to be acted from. So let's get even more practical with this, get even more 3D with this. What this means is when you step into the unknown, what you are also doing, what you are also potentially activating, if you choose, is stepping forward into any version of you that could possibly exist. Right? This is our multidimensional nature. Every version of you, in every way, in every possible dream that you could imagine, doesn't exist in the future, doesn't exist in the past, exists here now in the present, specifically through your heart space. So I don't expect you to fully comprehend what this all means. You don't have to. What you can do, though, is remember very simply, when you step into the unknown, you are limitless. Every possibility that you could perceive and beyond exists inside of you. And with each step that you take, especially into the mysterious unknown, you are given the opportunity to embody that possibility, to embody that version of you. So if you ever wanted to be free of relationships that abandoned you, if you ever wanted to live a life where you had abundance in the form of a new home, if you ever wanted to activate a new spiritual gift and speak your truth and share your medicine in a particular way with the world, That version of you that's doing all of those things or has all of those things exists now. And with every step into the unknown, we create the possibility for that version of you to be embodied in you now, through you. So I've done a couple episodes on this, and I'm going to put it in the show notes. Episode, I think it's around 140 with Crystal, Your Multidimensional Me, where we talk a little bit more about this in depth. But just to land here, to make this very simple, you don't have limits. Every you exists here now. And when we step into the unknown, we are given the choice to step into that version that we wish to be. And this flows beautifully. I see your comment, Darlene. I'll get to that in a second. This flows beautifully onto our next point of stepping into the unknown. And it is the point of you get to choose. Your biggest superpower that you have, that we all have, is not power, is not control, is not anything else. Your biggest superpower is your ability to choose. Your ability to choose that which you want. We're all choosing our current reality. Most of us are unconsciously choosing a reality we don't want. Most of us are choosing a reality in which we are the victim, in which we are suffering, in which we are in constant pain, in which we think and perceive that the world is against us rather than happening for us. So a spiritual practice and teaching in itself with stepping into the unknown is not just remembering your superpower of choice, your ability to change anything in your world because you're the creator of your world, not just remembering this power, but celebrating it in this moment of the unknown, in this movement through the unknown, celebrating your power of choice, your ability to choose that which you want. Right? This is so important because what do we all do? What do we automatically do in the unknown? Right? I do this. We fall into the victim, right? We fall into fear. We fall into smallness. We fall into, I can't do this. I'm not enough. But it's the inverse. The unknown is meeting us. The unknown is around us because we're choosing it. We're choosing to step into it. We're choosing to experience it. So we can celebrate this. Most of us, again, myself included, we don't pick the unknown and we stay in our safety. We stay in the familiar. We stay in the places that we're used to. And there's no judgment here. There's safety here. There's security here. All these beautiful things. But just because there's safety, security, and the familiar doesn't mean there's expansion. Doesn't mean there's growth. Doesn't mean there's abundance. So gratitude and celebration for our superpower of choice, choosing the unknown. And just this gratitude in itself can illuminate our path forward through the unknown, through the things that are coming up that we feel like we can't handle. Darlene, you're saying, so if I have a dream in my heart forever, it exists now. I understand this, but how do I make it real? Ooh, good question, Darlene. So firstly, just an honoring your acknowledgement, right? Yeah, exactly. If you have a dream in your heart that you've had forever, it exists now. That's exactly right. You said it perfectly. In terms of how do you make it manifest in the 3D, right? In the external world, which is always secondary, right? Because if we hold the dream in our heart, the thing that we wish to manifest, it already is real, right? If it's in us, it's real. So a step in itself to manifest the dream in the 3D, the external world, is always remembering that if you feel it inside of you, it's real. So getting into gratitude around, I already have the thing that I'm dreaming. There is just we live in a 3D world that works on linear time. So it manifests in linear time. So this is where we often all get stuck when we wish to bring about this infinite reality inside of us in the external world. We forget that the external world works on linear time. So we feel it internally, we acknowledge that it's real, and then we surrender and release all expectations on how the external world will display it to us. I want to underline this. We surrender and release all expectations on how the external world will show it to us. Because when it comes to manifesting, and I'll put some of my past episodes on this again in the show notes, but one of the key laws here is to release the pressure and release the expectation on how our ego mind thinks it should unfold. Because this is what often happens between the inner and the outer expression of our dream. In between there, our ego gets in the middle and places its expectations, most likely from past pain and fear, on how we think it will unfold. And then we perceive that as a failure on ourselves when it doesn't meet that expectation. So a small tip here. Welcome, Leah. I see you there in the chat. Thanks for joining. I see it here, a small tip here around manifesting these dreams, especially into the unknown, is having faith in the divine unfolding of it, the divine unfolding of how it will manifest. So when we have faith in the divine that is us, we are acknowledging that, one, we are worthy and enough of everything we could possibly manifest already, but we're also releasing the ego expectations that get in the way of the manifestation coming into 3D fulfillment. So faith in your divine power. Okay. Welcome, Emmy. Welcome to the live. If you're joining live today in the Facebook chat, I'm just going through some spiritual teachings around stepping into the unknown. If you have comments and questions as we flow, please add them in. Next up here, number 7 on how we can step into the unknown. That's the 7th spiritual sort of tool and practice that we can apply stepping into the unknown, and it is permission to feel all of the feelings. Permission to feel all of the feelings. What do I mean by this? When we step into the unknown, that initial and then the following movements after that, most likely for most of us, if you're like me, comes with emotion, comes with sensations, comes with feelings. Right, a big unknown for me at the moment is traveling overseas, moving overseas. And in that unknown, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of feelings that come up based off past experiences. Another example, let's say you're stepping into the unknown of a new relationship. There will be past emotions, past feelings that come up in that step based off maybe rejection, abandonment, stories that have played. So a spiritual teaching in itself to help you with this unknown is to give yourself permission to feel the feelings and then have awareness around that feeling. So another way to say this, let's say that you're having a lot of grief come up in this moment of stepping into the unknown. The simple act of allowance and awareness of that emotion moving through you helps that emotion resolve. And I'm going to speak more about that resolution piece in a second here with my next step. But I just want to underline the power of your loving awareness around the feelings that need to be felt in the stepping into the unknown. This is a practice. This is something we can all apply. Because if we're not feeling, if we're not giving ourselves permission to express the emotions moving through us, what's happening? Right? We're doing the opposite. We're suppressing, we're ignoring, we're pushing down, we're pretending that they're not there. And as we hopefully all should know, what is ignored is stored, right? What we resist persists. So the next time that you step into the unknown, this same emotion, this same feeling is going to present itself, probably with a new face, but with the same root. So this is a practice and beautiful understanding, teaching in itself. Give yourself permission to feel all the feelings that come up in this mysterious unknown, which flows beautifully to the next point here. And I can't wait to really talk more about this, probably in future episodes. But it's not enough, usually, to just feel them. It's usually not enough for most of us to just become aware of them. It helps, and it's something we need to continue to do. But if we want to really get to the root of these emotions that come up and are activated in moments of the unknown, the mysterious unknown, what we can also learn to do when these feelings, these emotions move through us, is we can allow them to meet their completion, meet their fullest expression. And I'm going to break this down, what I mean by this. One of the beautiful teachers in my life around emotional sensitivities is the magical Kelly Brogan. And if you haven't checked out Kelly and her work, I'd highly recommend it. She has a podcast too. So I think it's called, I'm forgetting the name, but just look up Kelly Brogan and you'll get her podcast name. And in it, she talks about many things, but particularly this idea of the pleasure we all have behind our shadows, the pleasure we all have behind our suppressed emotions and feelings. There is an innate state of wanting our suppressed feelings, our suppressed emotions to be released, to be felt, to reach their completion. Right? We all deserve, our shadow, like our light, deserves to be loved, deserves to be accepted, and in this moment deserves to be fully completed, fully acknowledged, fully felt in its fullest expression. So without going too deep into this topic, what we can learn to do in the moment that we step into the unknown is not just feel the feelings, but using our body, notice how the feelings make us move. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can see me, right, as I'm talking about these emotions. Every emotion, every feeling isn't just a static state. If we've ever had an emotional experience, you can pop this in the chat, in the comment section. You can tell me if you've had an emotional experience, was it physical? Did you have physical reactions? Did your physical body respond in the moments of a feeling and emotion? If you're alive, the answer is yes. But the key here is that each emotion, each feeling for each individual person will have a unique somatic experience, will have a unique body posture, will have a unique physical expression. So in moments of the unknown, when you step in, the fear comes up, the grief comes up, the anger comes up, the shame comes up, the guilt comes up. A practice that we can learn to do is not just give ourselves permission to feel that emotion, feel that feeling, but also to express and allow the body to move in the way that it wants to move. We know that the body keeps score. The body tells the story of our lives. And in moments of the unknown, we are given the opportunity to speak that story, right? To allow the body to release the score of the emotions it's holding. I'm going to give a example of this in my life that I recently observed. I was speaking to someone that I love very much, and in that conversation, there were there was a moment, there was a trigger of jealousy coming up in the conversation, and in that trigger of jealousy, I noticed not just that feeling and that emotion of jealousy moving through me, but I actually also noticed my body doing something very specific in that moment. I noticed my posture, my chest, my heart closing in that moment of jealousy. And I actually noticed a moving of my chest away from the person. So there was a closing in of the chest and then a rotation and moving away from the person. And I laugh because it's so interesting the way that we all have a unique language around these emotions and feelings that we hold and ideally, hopefully, want to express. And you can take loving advantage of this language in the moment that you step into the unknown. Give yourself permission, give your body the space to speak that language. And once you do, you create freedom, you create peace, you create bliss and opportunities for more to come in. Big topic with that one. I might do another separate episode on it because there's a lot to it. But I hope that was clear. I hope that really gives you a practice here. Let's move on. We've got two more to speak to. And then I'll do a quick summary of everything we've talked about here today. If you're joining in the Facebook chat, welcome. I see you there, Jackie. Thank you for joining. If you're joining on YouTube, remember you can leave your comments as we go. And if there's hitting your heart today on the podcast player, please share this out with a friend, a family member, a lover that you think it can support. Darlene, in the chat, you're saying, oh my goodness, yes, a fear. It took me into the heart and the stomach. I felt it with someone I loved. My body would feel the energy and the caution. I looked and realized I had to work on it, and I did. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful, Darlene, beautiful example. And we all can do this. Specifically, we can all do this in moments of the unknown, right? And it becomes our liberation, becomes our freedom. Number 9 here of the spiritual practices of stepping into the unknown. Number 9 is learning to speak it out. So I just finished explaining how you can hold space for yourself to feel the feelings, to move through the feelings, and you step into the unknown. But that's not the only way to channel the energy, channel the fear, the shadows that come up when you step into the unknown. Another powerful way is speaking it, sharing it with someone that you love, someone that can hold space for you, someone that can create a container for your beautiful throat chakra to be activated. Remembering that our voice, our communication is where our inner power usually meets the world. So one spiritual practice to really help you stepping into the unknown is, once again, giving yourself permission to be held by another so you can speak that which needs to be spoken. Speak that which needs to move. Speak that which needs to be expressed. Allowing the stories, allowing the fear, allowing the heaviness, the resistance to flow. And then continuing your journey into the unknown, continuing the steps that you're taking. It's so easy for us to get stuck in our inner world with negative stories, with the fear that moves through us, with the darkness and the shadows that come up that becomes us. But when we give ourselves permission to speak and be held by another person, a physical person, then we're able to break free from those illusions. We're able to illuminate that which is keeping us in darkness. So this is a powerful tool in itself. Giving yourself permission to speak that which is on your heart with someone that loves you, that you love, so you can continue your journey into the mysterious unknown. Welcome, Jackie. See you there in the chat. Thank you for joining. Finally, here today, our step and tool number 10, teaching number 10 for stepping into the unknown, is this idea of letting go, this teaching around letting go so more can come in. Letting go so more can come in. What do I mean by this? Often when we step into the unknown, we are moving from a past place, right? We're moving from a place of comfort, a place of security, a place of familiarity. And in this place of comfort, security, and familiarity, we're usually holding on to a lot of things, right? Holding on to maybe some relationships, holding on to some physical house, a physical furniture, physical things, holding on to physical, energetic and emotional ways of being. But it's in that holding on that we actually create more internal attachments, resistance, and actually fill up space inside of us. So a teaching that we can learn to open to as we step into the unknown to help us with it is remembering that it's okay to let go. It's okay to release that which no longer is serving you, that which no longer is supporting you, that which is no longer helping you step into your greatest potential. Because when we let go and create space in our energetic field, we're also giving permission for that which wants to drop down to come in. When we let go of that which no longer serves us, we create space for that which is always around us, waiting to drop down to actually finally come in. And this teaching, this understanding as we step into the unknown, brings us guidance, brings us support, brings us abundance, brings us opportunities. And only you are going to know through your internal knowing, your internal intuition, what is best for you right now to let go. But going back to one of our previous steps here and previous tools, you must use your superpower of choice to make that decision, to let go, to do the thing, to let go of the house, to let go of that partner, to let go of that physical material thing that you think you need to have to support your identity, to be enough, to be loved, to be worthy. Because in reality, right, you're already enough, you're already worthy, you're already infinitely loved. So that thing that you're holding on to, most likely 99% of the time, doesn't need to be there. And not only does it not need to be there, the holding on of it is stopping you from receiving that which you actually want. It's stopping you from receiving that which is waiting for you to drop down in the unknown, in the infinite field of possibility that you are stepping into. So, huge lesson here, huge lesson for myself, huge lesson for hopefully all of you tuning in. It's okay to let go. Darlene, so needed to hear this today. Thank you from my heart. Let go, declutter the heart. Yes, beautifully said. Now, I'd add another piece here around this, letting go as we step into the unknown. You can combine this with the second tool that we had of it's okay, right? You can't get it wrong. You're unconditionally loved. Because if there's fear, if you're like me and you have fear around letting go of that partner, letting go of that house, letting go of that thing, it's most likely you're holding on to it again because you're in fear around not being loved. So you can come back to the remembrance in this process that you never needed to get the love. You never needed to obtain the love. You never needed to prove yourself, to sacrifice yourself, to tick the box, to get the love. As you step into the unknown and you let go of that which no longer serves, you can remind yourself that you're not just infinitely loved, you are love. You're the consciousness of love. And you don't need to get the love because it's already what you are. Welcome, Claudia. I see you there. Perfect timing as I speak about all things love. I will land it there with that point. I hope that one is, again, very clear. I'm going to go over all 10 of them for all the people that have just joined. And for people listening to the podcast, you want a summary here of all of the tools and ideas and tips we've given today of stepping into the unknown. I'd definitely go back and listen to the full episode because we went deep, but I'll give a summary. So number one was using the breath to activate your presence, your divine presence in the moment in which you step into the unknown, allowing the breath to presence you, to allow your power to come forth. Number two is all is okay. You can't get it wrong. And the base state of reality is unconditional love. So as you step into the unknown, you remind yourself of these divine truths. Tool number three is giving yourself permission to ask for spiritual support, ask for love, ask for the guidance from angels, from spirit guides, from ancestors that are always around you, waiting for your permission to give you the love that you deserve. Number four, using the affirmation in this moment of the unknown. What would love do? Not just to help you feel in love, but to help you distinguish between choices of the ego versus choices of your spirit/soul. Number five is you exist everywhere, every way, all at once. So when we step into the unknown, we embody this truth. We embody this multidimensional nature of reality, that every possibility, every dream that we wish to embody exists in us now. And in the stepping into the unknown, we get the possibility to act that out. Number six, you get to choose. You have a superpower, and that superpower is your choice. So we can learn to celebrate and become grateful for our choice of stepping into the unknown and every choice that comes after that, because in that celebration, we attract more of what we deserve. Number seven, permission to feel all the feelings, giving yourself loving observation and awareness to feel all of that which comes up in the moment of the stepping into the unknown. Because in that feeling of the feelings, you allow energy to move. Number eight, it's not just enough to feel the feelings. We must also allow the body to speak the story of those feelings, of those emotions. When we allow the body to speak the movement, the expression of the stored feeling, of the stored emotion, we allow the emotion to complete itself. We allow the past pain, the feeling to unkink, to move through us, to complete. Number nine, or number eight, or number nine, sorry, number nine, there's too much coming through me. Number nine is speak it out, share it with someone, allow someone to hold you, to someone to create space for you so you can speak the pain, the shadows, the illusions that are moving through you as you step into the unknown. And number 10 is it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go so more can come in the moment that you step into the unknown. It's okay to release. Whew. We did it. Love you too, Claudia. I hope today hit your heart. I hope today activated you and gave you some steps. If it did, let me know. If you're watching live today, in the comment section, let me know which tool practice really activated you, ignited you the most, and what's going to help you with stepping into the unknown. If you're listening on the podcast player, you can actually leave these comments now on Spotify. Which spiritual teaching is going to help you the most with stepping into the unknown? If you're listening on the podcast player, share this out with someone that you feel is having trouble with the unknown, that you feel can need this now, needs this beautiful guidance, needs this remembrance. Darlene, thank you, Harrison. You're so welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Claudia, you're saying, allowing the breath to presence you. All is okay. Ask for spiritual support. Using affirmation, what would love do? It's okay to let go so more can come in the moment that you step into. Yeah, Claudia, thank you for summarizing all of the beautiful comments. And Sharon, you felt the love frequency. Mission accomplished. Beautiful beings, thank you for your frequency today. Thank you for your attention and your love. Until next time here on the show, I send you love, I send you light, and here's to stepping into the unknown with power, potential, and possibilities. See you soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Love Antenna with me, your host, Harrison. If you gained value or this episode hit your heart, please remember to share this out with a friend, a family member, or a lover. You can also leave your love over on Apple reviews and Spotify star feedback, and this helps me spread my frequency to more souls in need. Finally, if you want to connect with me deeper, want to reach out, interested in coaching, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn at Harrison Meagher, spelled Meagher. Sending you so much love.